Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Johnny Davis Live. That's right, guys. We're here on May 21st. It's beautiful Friday here in North Carolina and wherever you are, of course, Hope everybody's enjoying themselves and having a great time. We are going to have a serious discussion today, guys. Johnny Davis Live, real talk with real solutions. Looking forward to speaking to my special guest today, Mr. Keith Morreira. He's out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. He's a trainer, he's a coach, he's an official. He's kind of done a little bit of it all. And then we're hoping to also speak with Mr. Rudy Ott. He's out of Milpitas, North Carolina. Milpitas, California, guys. Has a big gym over there, one of the top trainers really in the country, and certainly was a great world champion fighter. He has his views on about the round thing and all of that. But you know what? We're going to go for it today. We're going to get right into it. He and I have kind of danced a little bit online, but today he's supposed to be live with us, and hopefully, we will see where that goes, right? But again, it's always going to be real talk. Always want to thank our sponsors, Eastern Offset Printing, for all they do for us. Eastern Offset Printing, they're out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. Do a great job if you guys are looking for some printing and need posters, banners, business cards, and things like that. Be sure to check them out. They really do a good job with the product and all, and this fast service. They get it right to you and everything as well. Eastern Offset Printing, they're out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. You can look them up online as well. We also want you guys, if you like, be interactive on the show. Be a part of the show today. If you want to, chat with us, or you want to put your views there, you can put them online. If some people want to come on, just let me know if you want to come on, and I can drop a link there on the thing as well. Obviously, we always want to keep our comments respectful. You can have an opinion without cursing somebody out. I think we've kind of missed that here lately. But the bottom line is that, you can certainly come on and express your opinions. While we're waiting on one of our guests that we see, Mr. Keith there in the lobby there, I want to just go over a couple of things for you about what's coming up in the full contact arena, at least when it comes to my events and the IKF events. The events going on, obviously, across the country in different organizations. You can check it out right there. Full contact in that sense. July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is the World Classic, IKF World Classic in Orlando, Florida. Is going to be at the Hyatt Regency. On the 3rd, we'll have our IKF PKB sparring tournament there, and registration is now going on for that as well at akpromotions.org. However, if you want to get into the full contact fights, registration is going on with that at ikfkickboxing.com, right? And also got a pretty good crowd of folks showing up there in, 4th of July weekend, right there in Orlando, Florida at the Hyatt Regency. Check that out. More information, ikfkickboxing.com for the full contact, akpromotions.org for the semi-contact. Also in October, we have our East Coast Classic. It's our 9th annual East Coast Classic here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where we're expecting an outstanding event this year. And I have a big announcement that we're going to make just a little bit later on this show, something really special that we are bringing to that event that's going to make it even better. Not so much bigger, because it was big enough last year, right? It was way big enough last year, right? But something is going to add a little bit more to it, and I think you fighters out there and trainers are going to really love this edition. Obviously, coming up in 2022 on the weekend of January 15th and 16th in Columbus, Georgia, we have the IKF Georgia Classic. It was a great event last year, and I think it's going to be even bigger and better this year, well, next year, 2022, right in January. So it gives you a reason really to kind of train throughout the year and see some great action and be a part of the great action as well. Just want to remind everyone as well, today I'm only streaming on Facebook because I want to do this count thing to make sure we're not having any issues there, but then I'll upload it to our YouTube channel at Johnny Davis Live, 3 exclamation marks. Right? Check it out, guys. We got a lot of stuff going on there as well. Without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my first guest here, and then I'll bring him up at the same time once Rudy gets on board here. Hopefully, he'll be able to log in. But ladies and gentlemen, man, I've been knowing for quite a while. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. Let's hear it for Keith Morreira. How you doing, Keith?
I feel when I speak with you that I need like a caffeinated, sugary drink, because I don't know where you come up with this energy.
Well, I think remember, I always tell people that is Johnny Davis live. Right? That is in live. And so therefore they can expect a live interview for the most part. I have to adjust based on what the show is. Hope I have your name spelled right there. Is that Morreira?
Yeah, you have the name spelled right, but you always get me in North Carolina. You know I live in Florida.
I know I got it. So I didn't say North Carolina
you've been doing this for years. It's not a big deal, but I mean, I would be at fights, and they're just like in this corner from North Carolina. I'm like, how many? Whatever. Just do your thing. You get confused between the North Carolina Jacksonville and the Florida Jacksonville because you're too live.
Well, what it is that that's kind of the truth there, because really after you reminded me that it was Florida, I looked at my screen and I had North Carolina. So it is it's definitely a thing there that I have trying to get that in order. Keith, I want you to take a moment, please, and just explain to people a little bit more about your background in martial arts, kickboxing, Muay Thai.
Oh gosh. I've been training since like the early 2000s with karate, but then I started Muay Thai and Fairtex before I even knew Fairtex was a thing.
Right.
And I kind of grew up in that. And then because I was in the military, I traveled around. And so I was able to meet a lot of different people, but mainly it was Fairtex. And then when I got to Florida, it was Crouton Burke over at World Martial Arts. And then it was also Crew Dominique Simmons over at Elite Martial Arts. So I spent more of my Muay Thai focused training under them over the years. And then, of course, as I was traveling, I picked up things where I could, because sometimes, we weren't in a place too long where I could settle down in a school. But you meet so many great people from across the world, and it's easy to train martial arts without being in formal schools, because you're coming together, a bunch of guys who train. And so it was, and you make do. There's been some, definitely, that's a whole nother story.
Right.
I mean, I remember when you were in Iraq, we had tents. We were like mattresses in tents, and we were training jiu-jitsu, training Muay Thai. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. We got mattresses and tents, but we did what we had to do.
Right.
Fun coming together with like that. Yeah.
Right. Well, I know you definitely have an extensive military background, just retired. Thank you so much for your service. I certainly do appreciate that. But I want to kind of jump right into this subject here. So, the other day, we had a lot going on with, this conversation that I started about, having more rounds, and my reasoning for having more rounds in Muay Thai and kickboxing. And I just don't understand when the heck we got off into 5 3-minute rounds for professional Muay Thai fighting, as though that is just okay. I understand the Thailand connection, right? But as I try to argue with people and explain to people that we're not in Thailand, right? And we're gonna, in my opinion, we need to change some things, because back in the old PKA days, and even WKA too, those they were fighting like 10-round fights, and they were fighting 12-round fights, and all of that. They might have been going 2-minute rounds. That's okay, but they were fighting more rounds. And the sport was growing and it was expanding. And those people who remember back in the kickboxing days on ESPN, they were watching, they were every Tuesday, whatever, right? A Wednesday, you would be tuned in for ESPN fights because they were exciting, regardless of whether it was high kicks. And even when it later on went into low kicks, it kind of became a mixed bag of stuff. And I think to Rudy Ott's point, if he comes on, sometimes it is important to have some level of consistency, and I get that, right? Because it did kind of become a mixed bag, but I don't think that was all of it. But when you stick to the round part, right, about how essential it is to build up in those rounds and to create a strategy. But you said a really interesting thing the other day, and I want you to, if you can kind of reiterate your thought process on why more rounds, or you feel that more rounds are important.
Yeah, when I look at it, I remember what you're talking about back in the ESPN Strikeforce days and the Friday fights, and they had a mix. They did have a mix where they had some 3-round fights, 5-round fights, 12-round fights, all different rule styles. As a younger guy, I loved watching that because it was hard we didn't have the internet back then. And so it's hard to get fights. But kind of more to what your point was, when I look at the longer rounds, I look at it from different aspects of it. There's like a fighter coach aspect of it. There's a fan aspect of it. There's a business aspect. So I'm going to just touch on those 3 points. Now, from a fan standpoint, that's really simple. I have 2 guys that I really like. I want to see more of them. I just want to see more of them, express their art and, show their skill. And that's really simple, straightforward for a fan. When I have 2 guys that I really like, even though there might be 15 guys on the fight card, honestly, most fight cards, I only tune in to see 1 or 2 fights, even though I love watching all the fights. In reality, I'm watching only 1 or 2 fights that I'm really intently on. The other
hold on 1 second. Keith, 1 second. I want to insert. I'm going to insert a little bit there. You said something interesting, that you want to see more of your fighter as a trainer. Tell me, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to. So I just wanted to close out the fan part. Now, as a coach and trainer, when you're taking at the championship level, I'm not talking at the early levels.
Right.
Which what they have now is good for the early young fighters, but at the championship fighters, you're talking masters of these skills, peak athletic performance. I'm going to be real. We go in with a game plan, but that game plan, we don't have enough time. These 2 guys are brilliant in offense and defense. We need time to break down the game, because we go into a fight and assume we know what's going to go on. We might have a strategy, but we might need time to adjust. But also going into it, we can change our strategy. If we know we got 12 rounds with this opponent, I can say, okay, let's test them out, because I know where your cardio's at. I know where your body conditioning's at. I know where your skill's at. We're going to try to take them into deep water. And deep water is not 3 or 4 rounds. Deep water is deep. And we can concentrate stuff like, this guy is a brilliant fighter. We're not going to beat him. We ain't going to knock this guy out, but we got to break him down. So maybe these first few rounds, we're going to concentrate on breaking down the legs. Next thing, we're going to break down the body. Now the cardio and mental conditioning are going to come in play. But you're not going to really know that until round 7, 8, 9, and on, because these fighters are in great shape. These fighters are technically proficient. As an artist, they're brilliant. And when you're dealing with artists of that level, and I call them artists because they truly are, you can't rush that. You need more time. And
it does seem like, Keith, but to your point, though, it does seem like a rush in 5 rounds. I mean, for some reason, and it seems like like you said, and I love the way you started this. You give it different perspectives, right? You broke it down from a spectator, you broke it down from a fan, you broke it down from a fighter angle. I love that, right? But from a fighter, right, 2 fighters in there, 5 rounds, you almost in a panic to get the work in. Even if it's a 3-round fight, you're almost at panic knowing that, okay, 1 round's gone, I only have 4. Oh, 2 rounds gone, I only have 3. And it kind of like takes away from your strategy, don't you think?
Yeah, it'll take away the strategy, because then you're feeling desperate on the time side. But with the more rounds, say you go in there and you get your butt whooped the first 6 rounds. And you're like, okay, that didn't work. Now you're desperate in a different way, saying, well, I still got 6 more left. There's still plenty of time. Now I can change up my game, because my whole game plan, it went out to pot, because this guy adapted his video, like all the video we watched, all his past fights, didn't matter. So now we can adjust it. So there's that element too, to where not only can this fighter, express himself with the different techniques. And that's what I think is going to be beautiful too, that I want to touch on later on in the fight. You're going to get some solid fundamental techniques, high pace. Then as time wears out, you're like, okay, let me try to throw more of these fancier techniques. Let me change these angles a little bit, because now everybody's a little bit more tired. We can change some angles. We can do some different things. Maybe we can try to sneak in some, spinning techniques, because the person's a little bit slower. There's so many more things. And I feel as artists with that time, they can express themselves and they can pace themselves. And when I'm talking pace themselves, when you're in that short 3-round fight, 5-round fights,
Right.
They're going hard. It's a sprint. But in a marathon, they're going to still, you're going to see more techniques. You're going to see more skill, and you're going to see it more over time because they have more times to pace themselves out. It's just going to be more spread out. And like I said, as a fan and as a coach, that's awesome for me because I can see more. And like I said, we haven't even touched on the business end. I'll get to that in the end.
Right.
The business side for me is the coach trying to help my guys out. But that extra time, when you got guys at that level, they have just so much. And I keep talking about they have so much skill and ability. I want to be able to see it. Plus, what's beautiful is now that cardio is going to come into a whole different play because there's some guys, they're monsters in the first few rounds.
Hey, Keith, hold that point real quick. I want you to hold that point because I saw James Reed come on. Now, this is always interesting to me. And I got a whole list right here of some of the comments that was made over the weekend, and I think. But James Reed comes on, and someone who I know is a good guy. He said 12 rounds with no shin pads would be brutal. Okay, all right. So listen, this is the argument that's kind of weird to me, James, respectfully. So even if what we're talking about, I'm talking about 2-minute rounds, right? I like that idea, concept of two, because number one, when they start fighting more time, I think that we need to pay even more money. Okay, so let me be clear about that. But right now, I'm talking about 2-minute rounds, 12 rounds, or if that's a world title. Let's stick with that. That's a world title fight, 12 rounds. Let's say 2 minutes, right? He said it would be brutal. But I got to go into the math on the time here a little bit, and this is what confuses me of what people seem to be missing here, Keith. So if you have a 12-round, 2-minute fight, you got 24 minutes of fighting time. In an MMA professional fight, you have 5-minute rounds. What? 25 minutes. They have on less gear than what a Muay Thai fighter has on. They have on no shins, obviously no headgear, right, in that case, and they have on 4-ounce gloves. What we have on 10-ounce gloves, right? So James, respectfully, I don't understand how you can say that would be brutal. Yes, you might be right, but is it not brutal in MMA? What are your thoughts on that, Keith?
When you're talking about at the pro level, one thing that changes with the shin pads, and I even talk about this in training, at the pro level, you're not going to block as much shin to shin is where the shin pads come in without shin pads on because it's just a bad idea. It's going to be very painful to both you guys. Right. So you don't check as much.
You get out of the way.
You change your tactics because when you both have big puffy shin pads on, well, I can leg check you all day because it doesn't hurt.
Right.
But when I pick the shin pads on, I'm like, I'm going to pick and choose when I want to throw those leg checks. So that hurts me as much as it hurts you. And sometimes I'm just like, if I move the right angle, if I move away at the right angle, move in at the right angle before they can turn the hip away or pass the apex, right, I take the kick or make that kick miss because that's a lot less damage than blocking with the shin. Now, when you're talking about the shin pads, a lot of the kicks without the shin pads are going to be to the body and to the legs. And so, yeah, but
when you say the legs, you mean the thighs.
Yeah,
not
the thighs.
So much the bone,
it's but then there's also front kicks with the foot and kicks with the foot and other things. So like you see in certain arts, especially like in Thailand, when they land with the shin kicks, it's to the body a lot. But also too in Thailand, because when you add the clinch, they don't actually kick that much. They clinch a lot. Now, if you go back into like an international rules or unified rules, which is very popular now because you can still throw a knee, you can't really clinch.
Right, like the unified rules, yes.
You can't clinch too long. You'll still notice in those fights, when you really watch those fights, it's a lot of punching in that style. So yes, getting kicked, shin to your body, shin to your legs, and to head, it hurts a lot, but you're going to be heavily glove influenced on those.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference going longer, because also you got to remember when you have 2-minute rounds and stretching out to 12, you got 1 minute break in between. That's a lot of break.
And that's a lot of break, but it's also a lot of coaching time.
Yeah. And two, when you really watch these high-level fighters, unless it's one-sided, they take equal amounts of damage, but you also notice towards the end of the fight, they're not kicking super hard anymore because they're like, ooh, my shins are sore. I got to change my game. And that's what's part of it too, because not only the cardio conditioning comes into play, the body conditioning comes in play, and it can change the whole game because now here's this guy, awesome round kicks, but he's like, well, that shin is really sore. That bone is really bruised. I'm going to have to switch to my front kick game. I have to switch to my side kick game. And that's what I'm talking about. The adjustments by these brilliant technicians is going to be beautiful to watch, both as a coach and a fighter and a fan, because you can see these adjustments and you can see all their techniques. They can express themselves as the full artist because they're not rushed. And that's what I'm looking at it from that standpoint. I like to see it. Now, like I said, there's a business standpoint that we're going to touch on later. I'm saving that.
Right.
I'm saving that.
Right. But I think, man, you were right, spot on. And I'm not saying it because I agree with more rounds. I'm just saying I think that the logic that you're putting out there is absolutely what we're looking for. And another thing too, you talked about deep water. Explain to people a little bit more in detail what that means about deep water, because a lot of people don't understand the deep water. Well,
if you're coming up, and whether in any of the striking sports, boxing or kickboxing, MMA, especially from the amateur to pro, you start off with a less time frame. You might start off with 3 minutes as an amateur MMA guy. You might start off with 3 2-minute rounds as an amateur Muay Thai kickboxing fighter. And as you come up, you can build up to more rounds. Now, right now, it peaks at 5.
Right.
But when you're coming up into deep water and championship rounds, now they talk about it, and you hear it in boxing. They don't talk about a kickbox because we don't have it right now. He's like, oh, this guy's been a 4-round fighter. This guy's been a 6-round fighter, 8-round fighter.
Right.
That matters because if you have 2 guys that are 10-0, but one guy's only fought 3-round fights and the other guy's been fighting 12-round fight.
Right. Oh,
that person who's been fighting more rounds is going to understand physically what he needs to do in preparation, but also psychologically how he or she needs to pace themselves in that fight, and understanding, saying, okay, this person's only been a 3-round fighter. I only got to withstand the storm. And after that storm's over, there's a lot of water, and I'm going to drag him into the deep part of that water and drown him with my superior cardio.
Hey, I'm going to give you the most perfect example, and I'm going to use me as that person. I fought, right? I was a world champion fighter. I think I heard somebody laughing. Maybe that was Rudy finally got on. I didn't see it if he did. But maybe that's why I've been hearing that little baby in the background. I thought that was Keith's baby. Keith also has a new baby, but that's Rudy's baby. Rudy, I'm glad you made it. I'll have you up in a minute. Yeah. But what I was going to say was, when I fought for my first world championship and I defended my first world title, and I had it on there, you saw it. A lot of people seen it, as you can go see it right now on YouTube. My first world title fight, when I fought Alvin Prouder, it went 12 rounds. It was very technical, and I went boom, boom. I could have gone probably another 2 rounds. My defense of that title, I did a lot of things wrong. I'm not gonna make a bunch of excuses, but my hydration was really whacked, right? And it was really tough. And I went in there, and Ricky Haynes and I went toe to toe for like 10 rounds, until I said, you know what? I think I'm done. Well, his punches kind of made me say that too, right? And so he won. And if it would have gone 9 rounds, I was so far ahead, there's no way he could have won. So he proved himself to be a better fighter than I was that night. And because he took me into deep water. He took me way into deep water, Keith. And so that's what I'm trying to get people back into, is understanding a 5-round blitz, right, it's just not proving who's the better fighter. And I remember when Glory came out, there was a couple of fights they had, and I can't remember the fighters, but they were two good, very good technical fighters. 5 rounds, it was over. Both of the guys walking around like they could have gone another 5 rounds, right? And I remember that distinctly, and I'm like, wow, you know what? We got to add more rounds. Really quick here, Keith, before you answer, I want to go ahead and bring up Rudy. Let me see what Rudy is. I want to bring him on. We're going to all just have a conversation here and everything, and give him a proper introduction. Let me find out wherever he is. He's kind of hiding from me. There he has some things going on today and everything, but we're going to definitely bring him on. I hear him. Well, I hear him, but I don't see him. Let's see where he is. See, can I find him? I don't even see you. Where's Rudy? Rudy, go out and come back in, please. Yeah. I hear him talking, but I don't see his face. So we'll see if we bring him back up in just a minute. Okay, so back to that about the deep water, Keith, and everything. That is, to me, it's just a big battle. Let's change gears just for a moment, though, and ask you about I want to talk about the fan appeal. Do you think that fans, especially here in America, are getting their bang for their buck?
As the amount of fights, kind of, yes, but like I was mentioning earlier, most fans, they're not coming to see 15 fights. They're coming to see 1 to 2.
Right.
And they want to see more of that 1 to 2 as the headliners, with everybody else kind of like the pre-show. And that's right. Kind of that can't be that. Of course, you can't talk about that's all fans, but for me, that's kind of how I feel, to where I want to see my headliner. I want to see this champion, and I want to see them for a long time, because like, I've been following them. I've been watching their training videos. I've been seeing their documentaries. I've been watching their old fights. And I feel sometimes when I see them fight, like the 3 to 5 rounds, I'm like, man, I want more. And so the things where I got to see them more was in the classic K1 days, but that wasn't, I got to see them 9 rounds sometimes. But they were on a tournament format where they're fighting 3 guys in one night. But that's where I kind of like, these guys could do it. Because that was a high-paced fight. Yes, they had a break in between, but they were banged up and they fought a lot of rounds. But I got to see those classic fighters, Andy Hoog and Ernesto Hus, and Jerome LeBanner, and the list goes on. And I'm like, man, I get to watch these. Oh, it's a tournament. I get to watch these guys give you 3 fights. It's going to be really fun. So as a fan, I just wanted to see like my guys, fight more, because I really enjoyed them fighting, because their skill level is so high.
It's certainly right. I want to take a moment here, thanks, Keith, and bring on the one and the only. He's a former world champion kickboxer, Sensual guy. Give it up for Rudy Ott. What's happening,
up, everybody?
How you doing, man?
Good. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey, doing good. I'm glad you were able to make it on. You told me you were running a little bit behind. I certainly thank you for coming on today. We've started the chat a little bit already.
Yes.
But before we get started with I want you to tell people a little bit about who kind of your background in it, so they can kind of understand that you qualify to be in this conversation as well.
Okay, I hope I qualify.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Lifelong martial artist, world champion in Sancho, which unfortunately is kind of a dead sport now. But if people know who Kung Lee is, he was probably the premier face for our sport. I trained with him for 6 years, won my world title under him. Sancho's pretty close to Muay Thai, except in the clinch, you can execute throws and takedowns. So a little bit different in that respect, but I call them cousins. As a coach, I've been a coach for the U.S. team for Sancho, and I've been a coach 2 times in 2009 and 2010 at IFMA and the International Amateur Federation for Muay Thai, the largest tournament in the world for Muay Thai. 2 times, part of the 2009 Dream Team that we won the most gold medals for the U.S. Have countless amateurs and top pros that have fought in the top promotions, Lion Fight, Glory, Bellator Kickboxing. So, yeah, that's kind of my background.
Right, big background. You've been in it forever. We knew each other well back when I was living in California.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed you named everybody's promotion, but you didn't say nothing about my little because I'm not there yet. That's okay. That's okay. I will one day you're gonna say, well, I also did Johnny Davis AK Promotions, and I had a lot of champions that came up on his shows.
Sure. Start doing some pros, and I'll be on there sooner. I'll be on there again.
You just you just hold on there, sir.
Okay.
You just hold on 1 minute. Hey, what did you think about, really quick, as we'll continue the conversation? What did you think about my shows when I was doing them over there?
You of course you want to hear about yourself, Johnny. You're awesome, and I gotta reiterate Keith's comment earlier. Like, you got to drink a lot of caffeine for you, dude, and I hope when I'm 70 that I'll have the same energy as you do. But your shows are always great.
You were also a comedian on the side.
Yeah. Your shows are always great, Johnny. You've always packed the shows. Always put on competitive fights. So yeah, too bad you left California. We need more. Yeah. We need more shows out here.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on it for a while, man. We're ready. I'm ready. They got to be ready for me. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Rudy, so you kind of heard a little bit about Keith and everything, and where Keith is on more for having more rounds, and he was kind of really breaking it down, I think, rather eloquently. Tell me your thoughts on, and you can go back as far as you want to, why you don't feel that it needs to have the fight sports, professional fighting, Muay Thai, kickboxing needs more rounds.
Well, first and foremost, we got to go back to the history of it, right? Okay, Muay Thai has always been 5 rounds.
Okay.
It didn't evolve into 5 rounds, right? Kickboxing may have evolved to 5 rounds, but that's because of Muay Thai. That's right?
Devolved. I should say not evolved, devolved. They went backwards.
Well, that might be your opinion. I don't think the majority of people who do Muay Thai would feel that way.
Well, what I mean, Rudy, is that when I say go backwards, meaning it was up 12 rounds, now it's got 5. It's less.
Yeah,
rounds.
But it's a very different skill set than high kick or full contact.
Okay.
Karate, kickboxing, the Muay Thai, which is pretty much everything you can do standing up, right? So then let's break it why it went down to shorter rounds. K1 was a resurgence of kickboxing, but they adapted Muay Thai, right? And they limited the clinch, they took away elbows, and they made it 3 rounds, and it was a tournament. So obviously, doing a tournament 5 rounds would be tough for anyone, right? If you had to do 5, but that's getting close to the rounds that you're talking about. If I'm doing 3 fights in one night and they're 5 rounds, that's 15. That's 15 rounds. You're talking about 12. That's a lot of wear and tear.
Don't do that. We don't do that anymore, though.
Okay, but I'm saying, so that's where the 3 rounds got adopted, right? So. They needed it because, again, you're just going to take a lot of punishment doing 5 rounds and then doing in a tournament format.
Right.
So then once K1 evolved into Glory essentially adapted those rules and did 3 rounds for tournaments or undercard fights, and then 5 rounds for championship fights.
That's the problem I have.
Well, yeah, but again, you're basing it off of Muay Thai curriculum. So if you want to change, if you want to make kickboxing or Glory rules 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, go for it. Why not? Sure, there's a little bit of energy left, less energy expenditure because you have less clinch, right? But if we're talking Muay Thai, it's important to keep some tradition going, right? And you can't say this is not Thailand. The sport comes from Thailand, right? You gotta let me finish. You gotta let me finish. And I had the same argument with what one's doing with 3 rounds and MMA gloves in the cage, right? So Muay Thai purists will say that's not exactly Muay Thai, but it's helping the exposure of Muay Thai.
Okay,
right?
okay, I got it.
Let me finish, Johnny.
Okay,
right? So I think you need there's a lot that goes into it, right? And we're talking about the business side, and now my baby's crying.
That's okay. That's not a problem.
And what needs a sport needs more than anything is exposure for the athletes, right? Now, so like we said in our post, and we argued back and forth, right? You start going to 8-10 rounds a fight, that's less fights on the card. That means less fighters get opportunities. That means you see less of your fighter, right? I guarantee you, if you watch a high output Muay Thai fight, 5 rounds, those fighters are thoroughly thrashed. And we're talking about elbows. We're talking about cuts. It's gonna be hard. I know you. I'm not gonna try to change your mind, Johnny, because I know you've got your mind made up anyway. But again, like if we're talking Muay Thai, there needs to be some connection to the sport. There needs to be consistency across the boards for people to understand what they're watching, right? So and yes, I want to hit a point. But back in the ESPN days, because I fought on those Strikeforce cards where there'd be full contact, there'd be Muay Thai, there'd be international rules, and there was Sancho, right? But I've watched those cards after that, and people are like, well, what are they doing now? How come they can't do this? Why are they doing that now all of a sudden? In the last fight, they couldn't do that. And it's very confusing. So, what needs to happen is, across the boards, we need to get more like USA Boxing. We need to have booklets for our amateur fighters. We need to have the same rules across the board. So if you go state to state, tournament to tournament, the things are equal, right?
Okay, that's another level of it. There's a lot of pieces to this and a different levels, right? But I want to kind of stay on point because you said a mouthful, right? You said so many things I want to get into.
I got to get in because you brought me at the end of the show, so I got to get it all in.
No, you are not at the end, brother. You are not at the end.
I'm just kidding. Hey,
I didn't even know you were there, but listen, I got time. I'll make time. We will go more than an hour. I don't care. But I want to have this discussion and everything because I do see that some people are coming on. You got Lino. Let me just recognize these people. Lino Enriquez, he's agreeing with you for the most part, Rudy, as he was the other day. He was agreeing with you and all that. He said 100%. You got Stephen Chow, who I know well as well. He's also agreeing with
Funny, all the Muay Thai coaches.
Oh, but hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done yet, though, Rudy. I'm not done. Okay, so a couple of things that you said. Okay, when you talk about the one championship, and the other day you were very favorable talking about the one championship.
I am, yes.
Great a job they are doing. But my question to you is this. Why is it okay to accept when we have a big name promotion with some nice dollars in there, that they take away the tradition, they take away the ring, and they take away boxing gloves, and they put you in a cage, right? And then we accept that, oh my God, that's the next best thing. Nobody, at least fewer people, are talking about the fact that they changed it, and we are accepting that as something like the next thing since bread, right? So my point, let me just say this. So my point is, we're willing to accept some changes to say that, oh, they changed the tradition. Oh, they're not as authentic. Oh, but by the way, they have money and they're promoting the sport. So that's okay. But when you got little Johnny Davis, right, who comes up, right, in my little world and the little stuff that I do, I'm a peon, right? And I say, hey, you know what? I think we need to take another look at that tradition in America, right? Because we're not in Thailand. And we need to say, hey, perhaps we need to look at more rounds. Well, then we got the Muay Thai purists, which you're not so much a purist because you did Sancho and you did other stuff too, right? And so, but I'm just saying, but you are in favor of Muay Thai. You come on, people like you and my friends out there, Lino and Steven are saying, oh, no, don't change it. But they accept one. But I'm saying, hey, here's a way we can probably change this thing so we can make it more exciting because all of these years, people have been saying the same thing and nothing has changed. Fighters are still not known, Muay Thai fighters. When I say Muay Thai, kickboxing as well, right? Even though I know they're different, right? Muay Thai kickboxing fighters, they're not making any money. Nobody knows who they are. And one comes along and changes, and now fighters are getting more money, they're getting more recognition, and they change the game. Why can't I change the game?
Well, because let's look at the facts. What's the largest combat sports organization
UFC
in the world right now? Yes. What's the largest combat sport? MMA, right? So that is what crossed to the larger audience. And the reason they were able to do it was obviously the Ultimate Fighter. They had a show where the people connected with those fighters. They highlighted the fighters, and that's what blew them up. Before that, they were on the same level as Muay Thai and kickboxing as shows as well, right? They almost died, but then they got the exposure. They got on TV. They got the exposure. Now, MMA is the most popular combat sport in the world, right? So, how are we gonna get the casual fan to watch Muay Thai or kickboxing? You got to put it on an MMA show. because that's what people are turning into. They're
no,
not too.
no,
they're not, no,
no.
you gotta listen. You gotta finish. They are. They are watching MMA, right? And so and this is why I agree with one doing it that way. And yes, I'm not a purist, but one putting Muay Thai fighters in a cage exposes Muay Thai to the casual fan.
I'm not arguing that point, right? Keith, what say you about what he said so far?
When you're talking about, like, as much as I would like
don't you leave, Rudy. Don't you leave. Don't
let
the baby. Oh, I gotta leave my baby. No, you say you and the baby are fine. Go ahead, Keith.
Sorry, I disagrees. Babies are awesome. Now for me, there's a very big side of me that's a Muay Thai purist. That if I had a choice, like, it would be all my shows would be Muay Thai, White Crew. I would have the band at ringside. I would really want to expose the whole culture and keep everything the same. But American fans are a little bit different because they didn't grow up in that. And so I can definitely respect your tradition, because if I had it my way, that's how every Muay Thai fight would be. Well, and it would only be Muay Thai. There would be no MMA. There would be no kickboxing. It would be Muay Thai but I think if you don't grow up in the culture and you don't grow up the art, it's the same thing like where jiu-jitsu is a spectator sport. If you don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, it's pretty boring.
It's very boring.
I
know nothing.
Muay Thai clinch, which is a lot of big focus on Muay Thai. If you don't know anything about Muay Thai, the casual fan, it's kind of boring to watch. Now, when if you've been training Muay Thai and you watch a clinch, it's exciting. Every subtle movement, every nuance, every angle that they take.
Right, that's the core fan.
Because we're seeing it from a different standpoint.
Right.
And I could watch a clinch, the guys clinch for 25 minutes, and I don't care, because I'm watching everything and I'm respecting the mastery of what they're doing. The same thing like a world-class jiu-jitsu guy can watch a jiu-jitsu thing where it doesn't look like anything's going on to a casual fan, but to the masters or to practitioners who've been training for a while could understand that.
Of course, and let me interject there, Keith, just for a moment. Just want to say something about what Lenny Enriquez says, that I asked for the opinion and then I don't like it. Well, I don't have to like your opinion, right? But I respect your opinion, right? That's why I'm having this discussion. I respect everybody's opinion. And trust me, I don't have a disrespectful show. You're not going to hear me be disrespectful, but I am Johnny Davis live, right? So I am alive about what I do. And also, please don't take that as disrespect. I love the conversation. And Lino, so please know that anybody can say pretty much what you want. I'm not going to get mad or disrespect you or cut you off. I want to hear what you got to say. But I want to now kind of go a little bit about what Rudy said a little bit earlier. Okay. Rudy, that was a great piece of history that you threw out there about how the rounds begin to transition with sports. That was very good and pretty accurate as well. I will give you that. Okay. Now, but here's the thing. I want you to let's talk about time, the length of time of fights. Hold on. I want to just listen to this.
I'm going to get in on you right now, Johnny. I'm going to get in on you.
I want to talk about the length of time of fights. So if we look at MMA, 5-minute rounds, 25 minutes, and they are doing everything with less gear. Hold on. When you look at boxing, they're 12 3-minute rounds. That's 36 minutes. So right now, boxing is doing more time than an MMA fight. Hold on. Let me keep going. If we were doing 12-round fights, at 2-minute rounds, we still are only doing 24 minutes, right, of fighting. And I mean, you can throw the elbows in there. You can throw whatever you want to throw in there, and you're still only fighting for 24 minutes, which ideally would be less damage than in an MMA fight because you're fighting less time. So please, Rudy, tell me your thoughts on that. Oh, Rudy, please. You're muted. I can't hear you. Please come back. No, I can't hear you, Rudy. What happened? Okay, go.
Hello? Yes? All right.
Yeah.
So, MMA rounds are 5-minute rounds because of grappling, right? It takes time to get position for jiu-jitsu and wrestling, so they have to add the time for that. If you have less than that, nothing can happen on the ground. And even now at 5 minutes, sometimes nothing happens on the ground. So that's why there's all that time. Can you hear me still?
Yes, you're good.
So that's the difference in the round, right? Even an amateur MMA fight at 2 minutes is too short. If there's a takedown, the round is over.
I'm not talking about MMA.
You compared MMA at 25 minutes to 24 minutes.
And a pro MMA fight, that's how long it is.
Yes, because of the grappling. That's why the extended time, right? And even boxing does 3-minute rounds. You're gonna start doing 2-minute rounds for kickboxing and Muay Thai. That seems like a subpar towards boxing. Or now we're doing short rounds. Right?
Listen, Rudy.
The condition is in the last minute of the
Rudy. Hey, sir.
Yeah,
Rudy, sir.
Yeah.
I fought 12-round fights at 2 minutes. And do not belittle 2-minute rounds. Hey, hold on, Rudy.
But you had booties and pants on.
Rudy, respectfully, until you go out there and fight 12 2-minute rounds, do not belittle those rounds, man.
I don't want to do 12-minute rounds with 12 rounds with elbows. That's tiring and a lot of cuts, right? So,
but listen, Rudy, but you will do a professional MMA fight with 25 minutes of elbows, knees, kicks, and grappling, and being dropped on your head. You'll do 20. See, I think there's something. This is the fight. This is what I'm fighting for. Rudy, what I'm fighting for is the true integrity and life and of our sport. Because I think that we put MMA so high above us, and we act like we're like little babies, and what we do is not as good or not as tough. And I disagree.
I disagree too.
Fights, and they were brutal, and I had to train like a maniac, and I had to be in the best shape of my life. All you have to do is adjust, right? You have to adjust your pace, right? Which changes again. Did you see the other day when I did the 2 minutes on the bag, kind of just playing around?
Yeah. I
was dead at the end. I'm telling you, I was dead.
Well, you're 8 years old.
Okay, you're right.
I'm like half your age, and I'm tired doing 2 minutes on the bag. So
that's all I'm saying, though, is that I think that we need to take another look at why we are saying that we can't do Muay Thai in a 2-minute round. That's just not the truth. Because listen, I've been doing the PKB events and I'll put PMT events and all that for 20-some years, and those guys are doing a great job in those rounds.
But
and they're executing excellent technique.
Johnny, we're talking about PKB with shin guards, headgear, 16-ounce gloves, compared to professional elite level fighters. That's complete apples and oranges.
But what I'm trying to say is about executing a plan and everything too. Hold on 1 second. I want to bring a couple. I want to put a couple of guest comments up there. Somebody said, I don't know who they're agreeing with, but they said agreed on MMA round length. Groundwork needs time, right? And he's also made a longer comment here. Let's see what he's saying. 2 minutes is sufficient for Ami Muay Thai, where volume is typically wins fights. 3-minute rounds make sense for pro Muay Thai pro-level fighters. He says 2 minutes is too short. I disagree. I disagree, sir. I disagree that it's 2 minutes. If you go and start training, again, a lot of this is about training your mindset. And it's about the trainer understanding the 2 minutes. And once you start training 2-minute rounds, your strategy.
Johnny, I gotta interject, Johnny.
So Keith alluded to earlier.
Yes, but you're asking now to change everything, right?
No.
So that's too. Yes, like okay, let's add more rounds. Let's make the time list. Now it's something we're not used to seeing anymore. And unfortunately, I love Muay Thai. I prefer watching Muay Thai and high-level kickboxing more than MMA. I have professional MMA fighters under my banner as well. I do enjoy MMA as well. We have to be realistic. MMA is what dominates combat sports, and that's why the format of one makes sense. Because again, the only way you're going to cross over to the major large audience is to connect a little bit with what MMA is doing.
As you well know, I'm in the marketing. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to.
So now you're going to market something that people have no idea what they're seeing. It's different than everything else that's going on right now.
No,
okay,
no.
it is.
Only thing, I'm giving them more. I'm giving them more of what they want. Keith.
Sometimes more is less.
Keith, okay. But Keith, tell me your thoughts on what the spectator might gain from more rounds.
Well, before we go to the spectator, I wanted to talk about something, the reason why I wanted to change. This is the big reason why I wanted to change. And I remember watching Rudy fight. Man, he was really good watching fight.
Thank you, sir.
I remember watching Rudy fight too on the other Rudy. I had to get back for that 80-year-old comment you gave me.
But before we get to that, this is what I want to change. One, you're talking about the recognition factor. I think the way that One Fighting Championship and UFC are helping with the recognition factor. It's not that the fights necessarily, it's those shows before the fights, the vlogs, the behind the scenes training. I think they put their money into their fighters to promote those because those things are not cheap to produce. Absolutely. Now, also too, when you're talking about changing the game, the one thing I really want to change the game for kickboxers, Muay Thai people, is because I see the hard work and I see the dedication. I'm tired of them getting paid what they get paid. We're not going to even bring up the numbers. But so now you're coming from a business aspect. Now, for me, as a business aspect, I have my fighters, and the game is, 5-minute rounds. Now, you, Johnny Davis promoter, or any other promoter, XYZ comes out there and says, hey, your fighter's a championship fighter. I want him to fight these 12 rounds. Oh, okay, no problem. I'll get them ready. But you know what I want? You want to show me I'm at 3 rounds, 5 rounds, I'm getting paid this? Oh, you better show me some money before he has to sacrifice. And I don't want these, and I want these fighters to be able to build some kind of nest egg and career off of their fighting, because I think, like Rudy knows, because he's a big time, he's a big long time coach. Most of the fighters, the money they make early on as they're building themselves up, that kind of just keeps them going. It's always 2 or 3 championship fights where they're making the 6 figures, the 7 figures. That's what keeps them for their career. And we're not seeing those on very rare occasions. Those big tournaments, you might have seen the 100 grand or the, maybe the $1 million on this one thing. That was a tournament. But I want these fighters to be able to make that opportunity to where they can have those money fights, be able to retire, have a nest egg. And right now, unless the stars align, unless you're the big name headliner guy like the Buakaus or the Yotsuklais,
they're not making any money either.
Trojans, you're not making that big money. You might make some decent, but I want to see these fighters get paid. And it's hard for me in the business aspect. You want me to do more? Well, they need to get paid more.
I agree.
If we keep doing things less the way we've been doing it for these last 20, 30 years, we can only expect to get paid what they get paid, and except if they're those marquee fighters. So
we got to get more
mid-level fighters. I want the mid-level fighters to get properly compensated. And when I'm talking properly compensated, I'm talking about the mid-level fighters, the journeyman fighters. Well, they're still making a good 20, 30 grand a fight, because right now they're not. We don't even want to talk to them. It's insulting.
Right.
Kickboxers and Muay Thai fighters, the mid-level, the early. I don't even want to bring it up because it's insulting how much they get paid.
Right. Hold on.
The truth is, gentlemen, is the same. It's the same thing for boxing and MMA. Right. Boxers are going to make $100 a round for their first 4 rounds. Yeah. Right. MMA, it's on ticket sales, local shows. So, that's the same thing across the boards for combat sports, right? The elite level fighters are making a lot. You're wrong, Johnny. Joseph Clyde, Georgia Prochosin are making a lot of money for their fights.
What do you call a lot of money?
I mean, compared to kickboxing, right? I mean, for what the average pro is making, right?
What are you calling a lot of money?
I mean, you got to talk about endorsements and purses.
Rudy Ott.
Yeah, so professional fighters at the highest level for like Bellator kickboxing and Glory are going to make $50,000 plus a fight.
I want you to show me one person who made $50,000.
I can't. I'm not going to show you another man's bank account. But that's happening. It is happening. It's very few.
But my point is, Rudy, is that it's all public information for the most part if there's a sanctioning body, right?
Well, they can look it up. I'm not going to divulge.
Okay. Well, my point is, I want to see people who are out there making $50,000 in the kickboxing match.
But again, that's the elite level.
I just want to see it. It will help me.
It's there. Believe me.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to research it because again,
I will. And that's great because that is my big argument as well. Because the reason why I want to kind of change it is because I really believe that they need to make more money. And one of the reasons they're not making enough money because we don't have the fan appeal, right? We have not built up our fighters. And I know you're saying, oh, why don't we piggyback off of MMA? Well, what I say is MMA piggybacked off us. They took everything that we do in Muay Thai and kickboxing. Hold on. I mean, Dana White is brilliant. He's brilliant because most of the people who are watching UFC or Bellator even, they love stand-up. They love the kicking, the punching, the knee, and the elbows. And less of them like the ground fighting. So in essence, it is kind of like they kind of took a lot from the kickboxing Muay Thai and made MMA. So let's call it what it is. But I'm not trying to be against MMA. Let me be clear. What I'm trying to do is find an avenue so that we can build our sport. Okay, so here we go, Rudy. Here we go right now. Rudy.
Yes.
Do you see this?
I see a folder.
That's a folder.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to keep you guys too long, I want to finally say that I'm not just going to be talking anymore. If I can tap my resume just for a second. As Rudy Ott knows, I was promoting some pretty decent shows over there in Sacramento area. In fact, they were some of the top shows that built up a lot of champions, a lot of your champions, Rudy, right? They got them started. Gave them some really good, gave them ring walks, gave them lights, gave them some pretty good advertising back in the day, and the crowd, it was packed, was it not?
No doubt.
Okay. So I don't think anybody's going to question that I know how to promote a fight, right? So the bottom line is this. It's time now to go to the next level. So I wanted you to be on the show. And by the way, Rudy, the reason why I put your name, now you're going to know the real reason. The reason why I put your name on that post yesterday, because you asked me about, hey, when are you going to start doing pros? I am officially announcing that we are doing our first pro fight on the October 9th East Coast Classic card in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. What? Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now,
about time.
Oh, it is about time. But you know what? But I'm going to tell you the difference, Rudy. Now, you already know that like the Ed Abasolos of the world, the TJ Archangels, your fighters, I can't remember all their names right now. You know, when we were doing it even back then, 10 years ago, we were promoting what we had. And those guys were getting pretty popular. And they were selling a lot of tickets, right? I mean, no doubt. Okay. But now we have a lot more social media and stuff like that we can build on and all that and take it to the next level. My shows will be different. I am not reaching out to every pro out there because I know right now every pro is going to probably, I want to fight on the card. But you know, it's not going to be that way with me. There will be a selective few, just like it was over there. You remember? I had about 12 champions, and I rotated those guys over and over again. That's the way I'm going to build up to. But here's the big thing, Rudy Ott and Keith, right? I am telling you right now, at this level, I am going to pay fighters more than what they're getting paid. And I'm telling you, that's why I won't have a fight card with 5, 6, 7 pro fights on my card because I'm not ready for that. But I am going to invest my $3 into, and I guarantee you, hear me out, Rudy, hear me out, that everybody in the country will eventually want to fight on a Johnny Davis AK Promotions card because for the level that they are, and I will recognize that level, right, that they'll make more money fighting on my cards. And that's something now I am going to institute. You need to know this. More rounds.
Oh, God.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to pay you more money.
Okay.
So when you come on my card, look, wait till the first one. I've already have the first fight pretty much lined up. Hold on,
okay.
First fight pretty much lined up. Listen, they have already agreed. They understand my vision. They understand my concept. And I'm going to pay those guys good. I already know what they got paid, and it'll be double or more what they've been getting paid, number one, because that's what I want to prove a point. I'm going to pay them well. They've already agreed to it, right? And so they will fight more rounds. And actually it will not be Muay Thai on the first one. It's going to be more unified rules, which I know you're okay with that. Oh, Lord, but don't touch the Muay Thai. But no, even if it was, I just want to tell you, even if it was Muay Thai, Rudy, it would be the same concept. It's going to be 7 to 9 rounds of 2 minutes, right? And right now, it's going to be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. What do you got to say about that, Rudy?
Well, I say congratulations for adding pros. If every amateur show put at least 1 or 3 pro fights on their cards, that we would have a growth in the sport. The problem, yes, even if you pay them little, they're getting experience, right? Don't just hear me out. My baby is not happy, so I got to go soon. But listen,
I know I'm so loud.
A lot of amateur shows make it look like they're putting on pro fights, so they don't have to, and it's cheaper, right? It's cheaper, right? So that if you add that, at least 1 to 3 pro fights on every amateur card, Rudy, are going to get more experience.
Rudy. I'm laughing at Lino. You know what Lino said?
What?
Lino said, I'm piggybacking up your idea.
He's playing with you.
Hey, it's not piggyback. Hey, look, Rudy, you know how I am. I'm a deep analytical thinker, and I've been in this business a long time. Rudy knows that. Look, Rudy's a smart guy, Lino, by the way. He's not a stupid guy. He knows the business. So we're not saying that. He knows the business, right? And so it's not that I'm picking, but he also knows and respects that I know the business, right? And so I'm looking at things to change it now. I'm putting my $3 where my mouth is, right? MB Johnny saying, well, how much money are you talking about? A lot. It's going to be a lot more than what other people are paying these pros.
I want to see your purse now.
Well, for me, it's more of if we keep doing the same thing we're doing and it's not growing, then we can only expect it to stay the same way. I want kickboxing and Muay Thai to be bigger. I want these pros to get paid more. So it's not going to hurt to try, especially when these guys know what they're getting into in the beginning. So let's try something different because what we've been trying the last 3 decades hasn't worked. So let's try something else because now there's more competition. Like Rudy was talking about, it's not just boxing anymore. You got MMA out there. You got those guys fighting with the no gloves. You got grappling. There's so many more combat sports out there. And so for kickboxing and Muay Thai to go another level, let's try something different because for me, once again, it's heartbreaking for me to see these guys work the way they work, to put their heart and soul in and not get paid. And I want them to get paid their worth. And the way they can get paid their worth, if things change, the sports change, I want them to have the recognition. I want them to have the money. I want them to have the security come with it because Rudy doesn't have to tell you. I'm going to tell you when you train, you break down your body to a point where like that's it. You're not going to be you're not fighting for 5 to 10 years and going into some physical labor job. Your body is what it is. You're going to have aches and pains and so they need to build up that money in that short time period that they can, and they can't do it right now. That's just the way things are going. And that's the main reason why I'm saying.
You're absolutely right. And I'm going to wind it down here because I know Rudy's having some issues there with the little one. Rudy, give me your final thoughts, Rudy. Well,
listen, I applaud you, Johnny, for wanting to do more for the sport. To want to do more for the athletes. I think that's commendable. I still disagree on the 8-round 2-minute thingy. I think we need to get more unified with the basic skill rule set than go different. Obviously, we already made the comments about in the cage with MMA gloves, but again, that's for exposure. But I'll tell you this: fighters will do anything for money, right? So if you offer them twice as much money to do 12 rounds, they're going to do 12 rounds. So send the contract over. Send the contract over, Johnny, and I'll have one of my fighters do an 8-round fight. But it's got to be double the money. I'll show you the purse. All right.
Double the money. I want you want 3. It's a 3-round fight, and you want 12 rounds. I want 4 times the money. You're
there you go. Thank you, Keith. 4 times.
Well, you know, like I said, guys, look, I'm a reasonable guy. I'm going to be reasonable. You know what I'm ultimately saying. I just want to do better, right? These guys getting paid $500, $1,000, and all that. I mean, we got to do better. I mean, the promoters are making a lot more money than that. We got to do better, if not get out the sport. That's my challenge. I'm throwing down the gauntlet to these promoters and stop prostituting fighters, okay? Stop prostituting fighters. These fighters work hard. They go out here. They train hard. They have to eat right. $1,000. Look, by the time they are in 3 weeks of training camp, that $1,000 is gone. That's prostitution. You go have a big old show. You make tens of thousands of dollars, right, and stuff like that, and you go pay these fighters more money. No, I can't pay them all the money I got to pay for the event, but I promise you that I'm going to pay more, right? Then I'm talking about my level now. I'm not talking about Bellator and UFC. I'm not there yet, but you know what? Hey, you keep your eyes on Johnny Davis. Don't you ever count me out, Rudy Ott. Don't ever count me out, Rudy.
Send the contract. We're ready.
Rudy, thanks so much, brother, for being on.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, good job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Mr. Rudy out there, and I'll listen, Keith. You know, I want to thank you too for coming on. Great comments. I think you were right on track with what you were saying. A lot of good stuff and everything. I think that you know, we have some work to do, but at least I'm willing to go out here and start the process, right? You know, again, I talked about the PKB. I started that about 26 years ago. Nobody believed me, Keith. Nobody said, oh, everybody, oh no, nobody had the Muay Thai designed to break the ribs, the Muay Thai designed to da-da-da, and all that. It will never work. Really? Really? Right? Who can say that now when I have people copycatting, trying to steal, doing all kinds of crap now with my organization, right? Trying to do the semi-contact point Muay Thai kickboxing, right? So I have proven that it works. I've proven that it makes fighters better. I'm simply saying that I want to bring in this. It's not so much of a new concept. It's really kind of reversing it, right? And just adding in some of the old. I think one of the comments that I made was you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater just because the high kick thing is kind of dead, right? The concept of the more rounds in this country, in America, the appetite that we want more bang for the buck, right? And what we do is that I think that concept also must be put back into our sport in order to make it grow, regardless of the style of fighting that you're doing. And if people can go and they can feel like they're at a show, right? And they're look, they're going to stay there and it's going to get more exciting. And they're going to respect the athletes even more. What are your thoughts on that? Your final thoughts on that? And I'll let you go, Keith.
Yeah, it's going to sound insulting to another sport, but when they're talking about like, oh, Americans, you know, or just, they watch baseball. I mean, I'm sorry, like baseball is like, that's a slow sport. So fighting, watching 12 rounds, I don't think that, I think we're missing the boat. I think there's a lot of people like me that want to see their fighter, their guy or gal, world-class athlete. I think they want to see more of them. I think they want to see them really test themselves, because something about a 12-round fight, you see your fighter go to 12-round fight, you see as a fan, you know what they had to do. Like, that's a hero to you. Like, you're going to look at them a different way. You're like, that's amazing because they were able to accomplish an athletic feat.
Right.
That's not normal.
Right.
Fighting 12 rounds, 2 minutes. That's an amazing feat. Yeah. And when I can see these incredible athletes do that, like, I'll always appreciate them because, you know, I have the background in sport. But the casual person, I don't care what it is. If they see a person lift a massive amount of weight, They see a person hit a ball 500 feet. They see a fighter go 12. I'm sorry. Everybody who's even a layman or a non-participant can appreciate the athletic, the mental conditioning, the physical that goes into something like that.
Right. Exactly. You're absolutely right. I just want to make the comment that Lino made as we close out here. He said, less lights and music for amateur fights. Save that for the pros. Shows the spectators the difference. Lino, I love you, brother. You know, matter of fact, I know who Lino is now. I remember when one of my visits, my son and I dropped by his gym. He's a really, really good trainer. Has a really nice gym. Now I just kind of think, I'm pretty sure I'm right on who that is now. I think he used to fight on my shows as well, if I'm not mistaken. But Lino, the reason why we do that, that thing, for far as I'm concerned, the lights and the music and the way I do my shows, is because I want the amateurs to already feel like a pro, because when they get there, they won't be so shell-shocked, right? I try to teach them professionalism at every level, like making weight, all right, showing up on time, and you know, and all of that. That is just to build up to bigger shows. But the key that's missing here, Lino, is the money, brother. It's the money. And so we got to find a way to get more money into the game. And I think that part of it is giving the customer, which are the spectators, a little bit more bang for their buck. I think if we do that, I think we're going to be able to help change our sport. I am just willing to dive out here and make it happen. Mr. Keith Morreira, sir, thanks so much. Great input today. I really appreciate all your comments today. Okay, brother?
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it there. We had a pretty strong discussion there. And I know some of you guys who don't know me, you thought I was fussing. I wasn't fussing. Right? I'm just that way. That's why I have 3 exclamation marks at the end of the title, Johnny Davis Live, because I make it live. And so I'm very passionate about what I do. My goal is to grow the sport, as I've always tried to do for all the years since my days, right? Is to grow the sport and just make it very different, and to make it grow and to be something special for our athletes. Okay, that's what I want. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it 110. I don't think it's right to say that we need to ride on the coattail of MMA and that we have to be in a cage and we have to put on small gloves in order to, you know, showcase our sport. Our sport is great. Muay Thai and kickboxing, they're great. They're exciting. It has big fan base. People love it. Right? Movies take a piece of it. Lino actually made a comment about how everybody seems to take a part of Muay Thai and da-da-da. He's kind of right. But it's not just Muay Thai, it's kickboxing. You watch a movie stars are taking, and they'll actually do kickboxing and Muay Thai almost in their movie, but they won't endorse it. They don't give us any money. They don't give us any sponsorship. They don't give us anything, right? And all, so we're like being prostituted, right? All I'm simply saying that we are valued. We matter. Our sport matters. Our fighters are brilliant. They're talented, and they work hard, and they deserve more. Trainers, you deserve more. But we got to get there. We can't take another 20 years lingering and not providing a better atmosphere or better money or experience for our fighters. No. We can't do that anymore. It's time now to get down to business. I'm pledging to you, I'm going to give it 110. 110%. I'm not going to dive into it crazy, right? And I know that people are going to be contacting me from everywhere. Don't do that. Not necessary, because I will have my team of pros and I will build them, but they will make more money. They will get more of that limelight that I think that we want and we need, but we got to pay them more. We got to find a way. And the sponsors are not coming on. We have to ask ourselves, why aren't the sponsors coming on? Why? Because our sport is great and everybody's taking a piece of it. I'm going to solve that problem. We're going to get out there. We're going to work a little bit harder, guys. Look, that's all I have today. I just want to quickly say, too, my condolences to the Rick Davis family and the members there. He was out of Statesville, North Carolina, who we lost last week. They're doing his funeral today on Facebook, as I understand it. It started at 2 o'clock. I want to give certainly respect to him and to crew JT Smith and all of the Lake Norman and Lake Hickory family and Statesville Muay Thai. You know, my condolences, sincere condolences to them. But that's all I have for you now, guys. We're going to go ahead and check out. You've been watching another edition of Johnny Davis Live. Remember to always respect each other. Forward march. This is Johnny Davis Live. And I'm Yeah. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.